I want to work with talented people because I want to look good on camera.
Right. Yeah.
As a producer, I want to work with good people because I want to produce a good.
Yeah.
But I think that actually looking into cameras
Mm-hmm.
and the tech then shows you that there's a limit by which the tech reaches where it just kind of doesn't make sense. Like a 17K camera or 12K camera. I mean, 6K and 8K is, is quite a bit as it is. And there's cameras that are, 17K. And you kind of get to the point where that's not going to make a shot better if the person using it isn't skilled and has experience. And so I got an appreciation for cinematographers and director photography and what they do. Because that's been kind of part of film that I've not really known that much about. Because, when you're in front of the camera, you have your own stuff to worry about. Your lines and interactions and rehearsals and blocking and props and
eye lines and whatever kind of thing. Yeah. But I mean, it's really amazing that, I mean, despite how far the technology has reached, and I mean, it's here, like AI and stuff. It's here, and it's just kind of like learning to work with it. But I mean, just it's as you said, it's pretty much useless if
you don't know how
there's
to use
no human. If there's not human elements, that so at the end of the day, it's the human
input
part of the puzzle that is
So in certain things, in certain sectors, we were talking about this on a previous episode. I think the last that's coming out this Friday, where AI was diagnosing at a higher accuracy than just doctors alone. And doctors equipped with AI weren't as good as AI alone in diagnosing. I don't know if it was a very specific sort of diagnosis or if it was just general, diagnosing problems or health problems. And in certain areas, I see AI being, by itself, standalone in the health field. Let's just say if it's better pinpointing things on a scan, great. That's amazing. But humans equipped with AI in that, or doctors equipped with AI in that setting, weren't as good as just the AI alone. So we kind of brought down the AI's capability.
Wow.
Whereas in the, something like the creative field, I guess that's still yet to be seen. Is that actually, humans equipped with AI? Are we going to be, we've used it in pitch decks. We've used AI, image generation in pitch decks. Because that makes that a lot easier. And then we get to kind of prompt a few times and get a nice image that we want. We use it in one of our big pitch decks. So that I see is human equipped with AI, making the situation easier, faster, cheaper.
Right.
Because we don't have to go and shoot that.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay for, a stock image, which is probably not going to match what we need anyway. So I guess AI equipped, it depends, like sector by sector. It kind of matters which sector we're talking about. But then when we're talking about arts and film and artwork and paint and all those different things, do people want AI art or AI output, or do they want the human created art?
Yeah.
For me, AI will be nice to solve.
Can you discern? Can you really discern between the two? As a member of the audience.
And I think that things like digital art, when it was digital art being done by artists and digital art being done by artificial intelligence, you have the person saying, "Oh, but this was made by AI." But I guess somebody could just say, "I made this,"
right?
And it's actually a computer making it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm sure that has happened. A few times.
Yeah. AI is kind of like become the ghostwriter now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. In terms of scripts and even I think there was a controversy. Was it with? I haven't seen the film. The one Adrian Brody won Best Actor for.
Brutalist.
The Brutalist. Yeah, it's like part of the acts and the dialect
Was it really?
was AI generated. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I did not even know that.
There was a whole scene with that. But I mean, even before Brutalist, I remember there was some years ago when the Ang Lee film or the Tiger Life of Pi.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Life of Pi? It had won best cinematography.
And it was all on green screen.
Yeah. And there was a huge kind of like, that's not real cinematography and ting. And so it's
there's a lot of a lot of editing done, a lot of coloring, color grading.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's hair. I mean, it's hair. It's going to be integrated one way or the other. I mean, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
But if it's complementing and making, creatives' lives easier, then great. I'm all for it. If it's, I guess I'm a little worried about the, where you're not going to need certain jobs on film sets.
Yeah.
And then that's where it's like, well, I mean, let AI do the things that we don't want to do, rather than do the things that we actually want to do. Which is like in the arts. And so I've had that conversation with many people. There was a film at Cannes Film Festival last month that it was called Echo Hunter, and I'm not sure if it premiered there or if it just screened there, but it's all AI film. But they used actors' faces. So like Breckin Myers in it and a couple other actors that are, recognizable names. And they use their faces in the film as the characters, but everything else is AI generated.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when I saw that it was premiering and I heard that it was an AI generated film with actors' faces, whatever, I went on IMDb and I went to the cast and crew. And there was like 6 people in the whole film. It was the 4 actors, the director, the writer, or the producer, whoever it was. And it is all, I mean, it's just that. And then a few weeks later, I went on it again, and it had composer, sound designer, so and so. So it's like, I don't know if they realized that it just kind of looked, I don't want to say bad, but it looked a certain way when you don't have any cast and crew in your film.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah, let's make AI films. And it's like, well, there's nobody making any movies. So that I found was very interesting.
Yeah.
And but it's nice that our industry, I mean, we were just talking about there's a feature film shooting in a couple months here, and there's a couple more that got postponed but are going to be coming here inevitably. And that's nice to see. And then we have our own stuff going on and with short films.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the industry is doing, and hopefully this new agency, Global Trinidad and Tobago, which is the new agency to kind of promote Trinidad outside of Trinidad. Okay. I'm hoping that, that does some things that attracts certain entities. Let's shoot more movies here. Let's use Trinidad as a location. Advertise the rebate program more, which they do. I know Film TT does advertise the rebate, but it'll be nice to get it out there even further.
Yeah. Because I think we have a lot of potential. I think also we have a lot of work to do in terms of the ecosystem. Like, I mean, just basic things that, I mean, I don't know if it's improved. It's like clearing equipment from customs.
Yeah. That red tape. I think it's gotten better, but I can't speak from experience. But I've heard the horror stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And but I think now it might be a little bit easier. I think it might be a little bit more known of a thing, that people will bring in equipment and it's going to be expensive and they shouldn't have to pay VAT and duty on it. Yeah. And you could get a waiver and then get out, I think is the system.
I think but I think also we have to learn to be a film friendly town. So like, if they need to like lock off streets or blocks and stuff to, that should get the proper paperwork done for that and in a timely manner, kind of thing.
Efficiency is key.
Time is money in this business.
I think G. Anthony was telling me, I know that you're friend with him. He was telling me once when they were making Contract Killers, like many years ago, that they had 1 or 2 issues with that exact thing, blocking off blocking off streets and then talking to the police. To get them to know what's going on. And I think that a few of them the police ended up kind of being cast as featured extras in the film, which was cool. That's how you do it.
I think there was a scene with a kind of a chase, a car chase kind of thing, and like no one told the police, and the police kind of got involved.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It was quite
because they're gonna be darting in and out of traffic.
That's quite the producer's nightmare.
So it's those things. Hopefully, those things can get, I guess, easier to get done.
Right. Yeah.
Because you could go to and visit New York at any time of the year, walk around the city, and you will run into a film set.
Yeah.
And it's happening all the time. Streets are locked down almost every day. One street or another is locked down.
The amount of Law and Order film set I walk on,
that's true. That's so true. They're always filming. The show's been on for like 20-something years. Which is crazy. But
that is crazy.
I mean, which kind of brings me now to, I guess, acting in the States. I audition often. But, my agent / manager in New York sends me stuff to audition for. You have a similar situation where you audition for stuff outside.
Yeah. Especially after drama school, like right before drama school, and after I graduated from, I was in New York both those times. And that pounding the pavement and getting your headshots and your resume up on point. And I suppose, that kind of stuff be considered, old school now, especially with Instagram and social media and those things to kind of engage with the movers and shakers of the industry, especially for actors, the casting directors, the agents and stuff like that. But it was there's just something exhilarating about, just kind of like going through the casting notices and backstage or whatever kind of thing. Well, now it'll be, I guess, Actors Access.
For Cast It, Talent, and a couple other places.
Yeah.
Casting networks. God, I know all of them. You said, I guess when I first moved to New York in 2008, I had to get my headshots, get them printed, because the digital age wasn't full on yet.
Right.
But now everything is, you just email your headshot.
Yeah.
I auditioned in 2020 for my MFA at 2 schools, and you had to bring in printed headshots.
Okay, and I remember when you auditioned.
You'll help me.
NYU,
You'll help me rehearse.
Yeah.
That was, I still talk about that.
Yale and
Yale and NYU.
Yeah.
You, Marvin, and Mervyn.
Yes.
In Napa, helping me rehearse the few sessions. That was awesome. I still talk about that. That was a great time.
You did. Iago from Othello and the Big Kahuna. Yeah.
And then I did Claudio or Cassio. From Measure to Measure.
Measure to Measure from
Cassio, whichever one was in Measure to Measure. I think it was Cassio.
Yeah.
And also Ephraim from Moon on a Rainbow Shawl.
Okay.
Those are the 4 that I had.
All right.
You needed 4 monologues.
Yeah.
And I did 2 Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Which was the Iago and the Cassio.
Yeah.
And then the
2 contemporary.
The 2 contemporary.
Yeah.
And I was glad that I got contemporary to do an American accent and a Trinidadian accent.
Yes.
Which,
to show your range.
Yeah, yes. Which I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which I did recently in the audition that I was telling you about, that I'm on hold for. That was actually, I submitted, they only asked for 1 take, but I submitted 2 takes.
Right.
One with the American accent and one with the Trinidadian accent. So
okay.
I think I'm going to do that more often.
Okay.
Even if they ask for 1 take, I'm just going to send 2 takes.
Yeah. Just,
let them watch 1. I don't care.
Yeah. Exactly.
Both of them will be good, so it don't matter.
Right.
But
and if they're curious, let them. They'll see the other one.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of self tapes and getting cast and all that stuff, you had a big casting a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
In
Shirley. Yeah, Netflix's Netflix film Shirley, which is Regina King's pet project. I mean, that was her labor of love for the past 15 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Herself and her sister Regina. Regina was in the film as well too as her sister, as Shirley Chisholm's sister. You know, and it was crazy. So Simon Batiste, who's my manager, one of my managers, Simon and Simon Batiste and Carolyn Pasha Pogson, both are Question Mark Entertainment. So this was the day before my 50th birthday when I found out about the day or 2 days for my 50th birthday. And I had plans for my 50th birthday because it's your 50th birthday.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a big one.
Yeah, so I was gonna go down, spend the weekend cruising with a friend, ding. And yeah, he calls me. Simon calls me out of the blue and said, what are you doing this weekend? Well, I'm celebrating my birthday, Simon. Like, forget your birthday.
I'm literally hearing him say that. I'm hearing him say that in my head now.
Forget your birthday. That's like, it's Simon's my 50th birthday. It's all right. He'll celebrate number 51, all right? He's like, learn these sides.
That's awesome.
I was like, God.
So you didn't. So it came one time. The sides came with the call one time.
Yeah. The sides came with the call. And it's funny that he also it wasn't just me he was gonna submit. It was like a couple other guys, a few other, like Kevin Brooks auditioned, and Conrad Paris and Jared Primer.
Very cool. Ross. I know all those guys.
Yeah. And he wanted me to coach them. It's like,
was it a younger? Was it a younger? Was he casting breakdown for what was the age of the character?
God, Conrad Chisholm, who's the character I played in Shirley. Let me see, 72 boy. He would have been in his 40s. He would have been like in his,
Right. So right where you are.
Where you were. 40s or 50s kind of thing. Yeah, right where I was. And I mean, it was like the second time I was cast in something where, I mean, the age range is kind of like bang on. The one before that was when I did Equus, when we were casting Equus. And I saw the character was like, 46, 47. And I was like 46, 47, wow. Boy. I was like, geez, look at that. And so it was really hard. It was not hard, sorry. It was really easy to relate.
Because I said, you're not playing a different age.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So all that kind of stuff that was going on. And so I sent in, did my audition, sent in my self-tape. I didn't hear anything for like almost 2 weeks. I was like, another one bites the dust, on to the next, kind of thing. And then I get a call from Simon, say, hey, you got a call back, right? I was like, what? Okay, cool. So we had to prepare for this call back and stuff. So the call back was a Zoom
right, I was going to ask.
Thing. And it was John Ridley and Regina King and Kim Hardin, who's the casting director, and the Kim's casting associate kind of thing. And
were you just home on Zoom, or were you at Question Mark? I mean, was it kind of set up for the...
I was at Marcus. God, what's Marcus? God.
The videographer?
Yeah.
Lee Fook?
Marcus Lee Fook, right. Yes, Marcus Lee Fook studio, yeah. And yeah, we set up the whole thing,
Nice.
I say, boy, let me dress like the character, I was hearing these stories about, like Eric LaSalle when he auditioned for ER, came in Dr. Scrubs and thing and stethoscope, and I was like, try that, and so I kind of looked at the character, like how he dressed, and so I just the suit and everything, and yeah, did the call back. You know, John gave me a couple notes, you know, just, you know, try this kind of thing, you know, went with it, you know, and yeah, later that day, that evening, I found got the offer. And
That must have been
that was
freshly 50 and
freshly,
just and
yeah,
casting a Netflix in the show.
and casting on Netflix, you know, kind of, and it was weird. It was like, you know, at 50, I was like, okay, it was kind of like taking stock of your life and where you're at, and it's like, okay, well, I guess this is gonna be it. I am, you know, faculty at a university, you know, teaching what I love when I'm not doing what I love. Okay, this is not bad. I guess this is it, kind of thing. And now this new option, kind of, you know, this option that I was chasing in my 20s and 30s and stuff, you know, has kind of come back around. It's like, wow, okay, cool. But there would, but funny enough, there was another level to the casting that I never really encountered before. But I mean, I heard of, especially when you're, you know, hearing about the movie history of, or the casting history of movies like The Godfather and stuff like that. That was like it needed studio approval. The casting needed my casting needed studio approval. So I had to, like, you know, get together all kind of like a profile. I had to get a Instagram profile and an IMDb profile, and just to show that, you know, you know, I don't know box office draw is the right word, but you know, I think once casting is above the line, yeah, it has to go through that studio approval. So I was just thought, you know, well, it stopped with the director and the producer. It's like, you know, apparently for big things,
they wanna know. I mean, if they want to know how many followers you have and what your reach is, to help their marketing efforts. Because anything you get tagged in, they know that, oh well, we're reaching 800,000 people with these 5-6 actors.
Right.
You know, maybe 200,000 here, million here, 20,000 here, 10,000, whatever the case is. So it's all kind of rolled in now, I guess.
Exactly.
The digital age.
Yeah. But I guess, I mean, even in a weird way, even before the digital age, you know, I mean, you hear stories about, you know, how when Francis Ford Coppola was doing Godfather, and, you know, he cast Brando, and the studio's like, nah, we don't want, and he cast Pacino, and they didn't want Pacino, and they wanted Robert Redford instead of Pacino, and Laurence Olivier instead of Brando, and Coppola had to, like, fight tooth and nail for these guys, you know.
You hear that every so often, maybe not as much now. It's not really maybe not spoken about as much.
Right, yeah.
Like in was it Wolf of Wall Street? I think it was Wolf of Wall Street, where Jonah Hill went to and was really wanted the part of whatever part he played. I can't remember right now. And, you know, I think that he spoke to a couple people, and a couple of people, you know, he auditioned for a couple of people, read with them, and maybe it was Leo or whoever, and they kind of vouched, like, no, this guy is probably going to be the better choice.
Right, yeah.
And so, I mean, you hear about it maybe after the fact sometimes.
Yeah. It's really strange how, I mean, I guess I'm really now becoming aware of that the whole lobbying aspect of the business, kind of thing. You know?
Definitely part of it.
I mean, you know, I heard about it during, like, award season and stuff like that. That, you know, is for your consideration, all this stuff. But I mean, yeah, to get a part as well too.
What was it filming like? What was filming like in, where were you, in LA?
We shot most of it in Cincinnati, Ohio. I think because the rebates apparently were amazing.
Right.
And also there are parts of Cincinnati that look exactly like 1960s,
Oh, that's even
1970s
better.
Brooklyn.
So it was on location. It wasn't like green screen or anything like that.
No, it was on location. The last couple of weeks we shot in LA, like the scenes where she meets with Diane Carroll and Black Panthers guys. And
how long was filming?
Filming was originally supposed to last from like end of November, beginning of September, end of November, beginning of December, 2021 to the first week of February 2022. But there were a couple of things that happened. We were supposed to have 2 weeks for Christmas break in December and start back like early January. But that turned to 4 weeks because that's COVID spike. So we were shooting during
like the tail end of the pandemic.
Yeah. And then when we came back to shoot, like the second day of shooting, returning to shoot, we got word that Regina's son took his own life. So that when I heard, it was weird. It was like I think we came back to Tuesday. My scene was Wednesday, and then we found out that the next day shoot was canceled. And then we found that the day after that the shoot was canceled. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And no one saying anything. Cast was like, what's? And then we found out on the news, that the Saturday that
I mean, that smack in the middle of a production. You're dealing with so much stress.
Yes.
Speaking from Regina's perspective, you're dealing with so much stress making a movie.
Yeah.
And then now personal matters, family matters, which would be considered. I mean, this is obviously on the upper end of emergency.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
I thought the production was gonna fold. I was like, there's no way she could come back to do this.
At least not now. I mean,
yeah. But we went on like a 5-6 week hiatus, for her to go through bereavement, and she came back. She came back with guns blazing. I mean, she was of course a different person, but we did our best to just rally behind her, and but yeah, there were days where she just couldn't continue. She was overwhelmed. And just okay, cool. We wrap for the day, done for the day, and just come back tomorrow or whatever kind of thing. But it was interesting. Just outside of that, interesting shooting during COVID because everybody had to be masked.
Yeah,
we were tested every day. Every day was tested as you come on set.
Wow.
Put that, shove that swab up your nose.
And wait 5-10 minutes to see if you have COVID.
Yeah. They had different zones. So, which was due to the COVID thing. So, like, you couldn't kind of like, so I guess the different zones, like different, areas of protection kind of thing, the only time you're allowed to take off your mask was as an actor between
Takes.
action and cut. Yeah.
So a cut, you had to pull your mask out your pocket.
Yeah, cut. All right. Pull your mask out your pocket, put it back on until the next take.
I've been on sets where that was the case. I mean, we filmed a couple of things here.
Yeah.
During the pandemic. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like wearing the mask in general, but it was real hard to stay in character on one particular shoot where I was, basically dying from a gunshot wound. Thanks, Sean Eskai. He loves to kill me in his movies. and in between takes, he had to put on the mask and
Yeah.
But it was
Or the shield.
It was great. I never walked with a shield. I never graduated to the shield. I just had the series of masks and N95 this and cloth mask that. Regular surgical masks that they say did nothing, but I still wore it. When I had to. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting time. I mean,
it was.
To go through that and then still have to make a movie, which you know,
Right.
I heard about. I'm sure that you heard it too, where Tom Cruise had his meltdown on set because
Right.
people were, I think, talking and hanging
Yeah,
out by
yeah.
somewhere without masks.
Masks. Yeah.
And in a way, I kind of, as much as I thought that whole thing was kind of blown out of proportion with COVID and all the masks and all that, but I kind of understand where he's coming from. They get shut down for a day on $100 million movie.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of money, you know.
Exactly.
So I kind of understood that part.
Right.
But it's just unfortunate we had to go through it. Period.
Right. Yeah. It was, but I mean, you know, it and wasn't he kind of responsible for, in a way, kind of bringing back, or at least bringing back the stuff in the movie theaters in a way with the Top Gun Maverick, because there was, like, I know coming to see a film in a movie theater, in a cinema, was kind of, that had kind of taken a lull as well too, when everyone was pretty much on their devices and stuff.
I'm sure Tom Cruise can pull a crowd anywhere, which
Yeah,
way
yeah.
he wants.
Yeah.
I think that I heard a story, and I'm not sure if I'm going to attribute it to him now, but I may be wrong, where he called around just before they were going to film one of those movies, one of his many movies, during the pandemic, when studios were a little reluctant to get back filming and in production, and he would call around to some studios and he would say, we're filming, we're getting ready to film, just to kind of raise everybody's spirits and get everybody in the mindset of, oh, it might be okay to film and to shoot things and produce movies again. And it kind of started this kind of underground kind of, we're just gonna shoot anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that was him. I'm gonna do some Googling after this, but I think that was him, because that's a cool story.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think of him, that's a pretty cool story. Just to get things back in track.
Yeah.
What, I guess, I mean, I want to talk more about Shirley, because I saw it, and I guess that stage, the Netflix stage, it's a big one. I mean, we have actors, you know, off Broadway now, today.
Yeah.
You know, all over the world, in musicals and whatnot. And of course, doing their MFA across the biggest and best schools. Trinidadians I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I think that Netflix might be kind of that step, that area where not a lot of people have kind of gotten into that. I know one or two people that have some stuff that have ties to Trinidad, but not Trinidadians necessarily, that have done it recently. What was that like? What was that like, being able to turn on Netflix after the fact and have you have a movie that was a good movie, reviewed well, told a good story, you know, written and directed well and acted well from what everybody said.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like, having a film on Netflix?
I mean, really proud. Just really proud that, you know, that my work is seen, you know, that and I can do work with people of that level, that caliber, you know. I mean, Regina and Terrence and the late Lance and Lucas, and I mean, then they're all wonderful people. Really, you know, not a horrible person on that whole set, you know.
Lance, I forgot you worked with Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
And he passed away recently.
Wow. Yeah.
He always seemed like a really cool guy. Is he a cool guy?
Very, very supportive of my work. Very, very, like one of the first people who was like, you know, came up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, yeah, good work," and you know, and I was surreal. I mean, 'cause, you know, first time I saw him was on, you know, on The Wire.
Yeah.
You know, I remember him from The Wire, and then the John Wick movies, and you know, a couple other things I saw him in, and I was like, you know, when actually, John told me, you know, the cast, who was, you know, the cast in it and stuff, and I was kind of, I was like starstruck, you know, but I kind of didn't want to, just wanted to be cool about it. It's like, oh.
Okay, very nice. Terrence Howard. Oh, okay,
Terrence.
Yes, very cool.
But you know, it's like, yes, like, wow, oh my gosh, people whose work I've always kind of, you know, not kind of, have admired, you know, and still continue.
And you see, because they are in. I mean, all of them they have quite the resumes.
Yes, exactly.
You're gonna come across their work often.
Exactly, and even you know, not just not just people in front of the camera, people behind the camera. I mean, like, they're like the ADs and even like, uh, don't like the makeup people or whoever.
Everybody's super professional.
And you look at it, you just kind of type it. Let me try this on IMDb, and you see the projects that they've worked on. It's like, whoa, whoa, these people are.
I mean, the professionals.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Just but the word professional might not be enough, because you work. I have a lot of friends from my school days in New York and who are doing huge things now.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup artists for Stranger Things and like key makeup artists for Stranger Things and big movies and stuff like that. That's I feel like proud. It's like, oh, I worked with them once upon a time, and it's nice to see that people have not just climbed the ladder but are doing amazing things.
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
I love to see people win, so that's huge.
Yeah. So I mean, it's it was a moment I cherish. It was an experience I really cherish, and
What
just
happened?
kind of working on getting more of that stuff.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, but my next question. But what is one moment that really stood out on set filming that, I don't know, left you in awe? Like you're like, all right, well, I'm here. I mean, was it that first day on set? Was it walking out and seeing the set being built? Was it when Terrence Howard got introduced to you? I mean, you obviously met Regina in the auditions. So.
Right. Yeah. So many of them. Yeah. That first the first scene we shot actually was when the reporter was interviewing Shirley and Conrad, for whatever newsman, I think it was New York Illustrated at the time, kind of thing. And it's a scene where we're holding hands. Yeah, there's a close of us holding hands, and when the interview is done, we kind of separate our hands, kind of thing. And that was, because, and I guess that's the thing about film, is that you really kind of have to have the arc. You have to have the story arc in your head all the time to know, when this is happening, what happened before, kind of thing. So
because it's so different to stage.
Exactly. It's not linear. It's very kind of random, and the reasons for that, as there's because of availability of location, availability of actors, budgetary, and all kind of logistical reasons for that. That kind of override the need to tell the story linear, whereas in theater, of course, you could be linear as you can. But you have to be. You have no choice. This scene, like, say for example, the scene where we were arguing about the money, that was like really, that was a challenge for me. And I guess, nice CIC educated, Catholic boy raised kind of, you don't interrupt people when they're speaking and stuff like that. And we had to be like just kind of talking at the same time, talking of each other, kind of thing. So that kind of, I know she used to like kick my ass all the time with that kind of thing, and I was like, so when it came to the close up, I was like, nah, boy, I can't let her win. I have to get my things in, kind of thing, because every time I had like, I'd like have to say my line, and she's like, barreling lines at me. I'd be like, but kind of like a henpecked husband.
Was that moment? Was that scene where you got to use your chops? I mean, at the end of the day, but
yeah,
you're acting with some of the best.
Demanded my chops, because it was not polite scene. It's not polite scene. It was a really visceral scene, so yeah, just kind of like had to take all that, and like pretty much every scene, just kind of had to take all that starstruck stuff and kind of reverence and just
Repurpose the
meet them.
energy.
Yeah. Just meet them toe to toe.
Have you auditioned for anything like, I guess, that caliber since?
I auditioned for something. There was this kind of like new series that's supposed to be shooting in. I don't know if it ever came out. In Hawaii. It's playing kind of body. I think it was for Hulu.
Well, that's cool.
One of those, yeah.
That's cool.
But I didn't hear anything from it since. I know like you. I'm a soldier from long. You just kind of
correct.
Keep as Robert De Niro said at one time. You don't have time for a victory lap. You just have to,
just keep
get
going.
ready for your next one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, I look forward to I'm seeing the local industry developing more. I'm seeing more projects film here and plan to film here.
Mm-hmm. And I would love to still be part of those
of course
projects as well too.
Yeah, I think that we are as a country, we have so much to offer from a locations and rebate perspective, and then we have the talent here and the equipment, quite frankly, to make the biggest and the best. I mean, there was a film in the Caribbean Film Festival called Zion. It opened the film festival.
Yes.
I didn't see it, but I heard phenomenal things about it. I heard amazing things about it, and it made sense then why it was chosen as the opening film. I think it was out of Guadeloupe.
Guadeloupe, yeah. At first, when I saw it, I thought, this was in France or something like that. And like, no, it's Guadeloupe.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to figure out a way to see it. But my point is that we have the ability to put out phenomenal stories and content, and we have been, and we just have to keep doing that. Kind of like what you say. There's no time for a victory lap. You just have to. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
No matter if the victory is big or small.
Right.
You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
It's kind of what. It's kind of what you have to kind of live by, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I mean, it. I mean, we've had instances of people kind of, constantly kind of like in the trenches, like say people like Danielle and stuff like that. I mean, to the point, I guess, it's detrimental for health and everything now. But we I guess because we are a small line, the community is small, and I think we kind of need that. We kind of that critical mass, and not just critical mass of people, critical mass of work to just kind of keep putting things out there.
Yeah.
In a way, I guess how Nollywood kind of been doing it, because I mean, they've gotten some good stuff, but you also got a lot of substandard.
Yeah. I guess that because the sheer amount of stuff they were putting out.
Yeah.
But then it attracted a bunch of films that went, and big Hollywood films that went and spent millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
To film on location in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I think that's just, I think that it's, I mean, we're doing something together coming up and some proof of concept stuff, and we've been writing with the studio. Cameron and I have been writing a bunch of features and shorts. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it just takes everybody keep doing what they're doing, and the industry is small here, so we're going to be working together anyway. I mean, there's a pool of talented cinematographers and a pool of talented directors, and you're going to end up working with everybody anyway.
But I think too what needs to happen, especially here, it's just how we see ourselves, and not just see ourselves as artists, but see ourselves as as a nation, as a country, as a people with stories to tell, and just understanding. I think that there needs to be an understanding that production doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to look at the credits of any given movie, and you just see the amount of people in them closing credits, and it's like,
and that takes money.
Yeah,
I mean, time and energy, but it takes money.
Doing that for gratis, no.
Gratis card, don't pay rent.
Don't pay rent. Everyone under
exposure, don't pay rent.
Exactly. Yeah. Nearly everyone under that credit is unionized.
That as well.
So I think, and I guess we're not. I guess in terms of corporate Trinidad, we're not. We don't have a history of risk, a history of
investing before the success.
Yeah.
Some companies have, of course, but we invest in success, not before the success.
Yes, yeah.
Not in the development.
Right.
I guess that can change. I mean, that can change with obviously with change in mindset. But what's going to change your mindset, I think, is going to be, planning and organization and showing people that it can be a moneymaker. It can be, or it can be a revenue generator or a job generator. All these different things, like the orange economy that they're now talking about with Global Trinidad and Tobago, with the TT Chamber of Commerce now as a board, an orange economy board that's looking at alternative revenue sources, things like the arts and whatnot that aren't oil and gas and financial services.
Right. Yeah.
So I think the future is bright. I'm an optimist. I think the future is bright anyway, because I'm seeing the projects coming. I'm seeing the projects being talked about and developed right here in my own studio as well as outside.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a matter of not stopping, as you said. Just keep going. Just keep building.
Yeah.
I used to say something in a previous kind of role that I was in 3D design and art and stuff, where it's just keep building. That's why just keep building. Doesn't matter what's going on, as long as you can keep building.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. That's like, man, I hope that plan. It just I hope we're all on board with that plan. In this
I think that a lot of the creatives, I can't speak for everybody, but I think a lot of them are. I think that a lot of creatives see the potential in building the industry further.
Yeah.
And I mean, imagine if we have 4 or 5 feature films shooting a year. I mean, that would be amazing.
Amazing.
I think now we might have 1 feature film, maybe a feature doc. A lot of documentaries get shot, which is awesome.
Right.
It's a little less infrastructure needed than a feature film and narrative stuff. But I mean, I'm looking forward to kind of what's to come. I think that there is a lot that is still to happen.
Yeah.
With a lot of projects that I think we both know about that are coming to Trinidad to film and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having
time.
Me. Yeah. This is great.
It's been a long time coming. I wanted to have you on for a while.
Yeah.
And and if you ever need me in your class, I'm down.
Yeah.
I would love to.
We have that. We have to schedule that for next semester. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, Mike.
Stephen.
Thank you, brother.
Take care. Thank you.